Why is it so hard to hire high-performing salespeople? Why is it that most sales hires fail? We are going to break down the characteristics that lead someone to become successful as a salesperson. We'll talk about what to look for in the interview process, but then we'll talk about how to manage them effectively. In the end, you'll walk away with not only a game plan for hiring them effectively, but also unlocking their potential to make a ton of money for you as a business owner. As you may know, I have dedicated my career to researching the characteristics of high-performing salespeople, understanding what is it that separates those who outperform in the world of sales, particularly the hunter salespeople of the world, from the rest. And when you think about somebody who's going to be a successful hunter, as I always say, what you're essentially looking for is somebody who's going to be able to go out, knock on a door, sometimes get that door slammed in their face, and then knock on the next door with that much more certainty and passion and conviction. And psychologically, of course, that's a very special person whom we're talking about. And make no mistake about it, they are special. Psychologically, they're very different. Some people might say they're a little crazy, but I mean that in a good way. High-performing salespeople will push and push and push to outperform their competition. They'll work harder than anyone else. That leads consistently to their success. They'll even push us as business owners, which is one of the great things about them. So if we think about the fact that, as we mentioned in a previous video, only about 20% of the population has the characteristics that lead to success in sales, it behooves us, of course, to understand what are these traits. On the hiring side, here are the things to look for. The first characteristic is what we call the need for achievement. And again, that's the person who does well for the sake of doing well. They're always focused on excellence for its own sake, setting that bar for themselves high and always focusing on excelling beyond it. And again, pushing their business owners, pushing managers to fight as hard as they do. So that's the first piece, need for achievement. The kid in school who has to get an A. The second piece is competitiveness. And that competitive salesperson, again, make no mistake about it, they'd love to compete and win. They want to be the best on their team and they want to win that prospect over to their point of view. And number three, optimism, the person who is certain that they will succeed and they're able to handle the repeated rejection and difficulties and challenges that salespeople simply have to put up with. So we find it's those three characteristics that lead to someone being successful in sales. So those are the things to look for on the hiring side. But once we brought the person on board, the key question is, okay, great, now we've got them. How do we manage them effectively? How do we unlock their potential to help our businesses thrive and succeed as business owners? There are really three key things to remember to do and, well, at the same time, remember not to do. The first is a bit of a don't, and that's don't overmanage them. In fact, give them room, give them space. High-performing salespeople do not like to feel like they've been collared. They like to feel like they have room to grow, room to move. They don't like to be micromanaged, particularly those who are experienced. Now, of course, if you have somebody who's a little bit earlier in career, they might need a little bit more mentoring in terms of sales 101. But if you have someone particularly who has a bit of experience, don't overmanage them. Instead, give them some freedom. They don't like to be watched 24/7. They like to make sure that they have the freedom to do what they need to do. But on the other hand, number two, make sure that you support them. Give them all the tools and resources they need to unlock their potential. In other words, if they need a new tablet, give them a new tablet, give them a new phone, whatever it is they might need, whatever types of resources they might need to succeed, make sure that all of that is there for them so the sky is the limit in terms of what they can do for you. Don't constrain them. Number three, when it comes to meetings, minimize. High-performing salespeople, you may be shocked to learn, do not enjoy sitting in long meetings. Instead, mentor them. Don't schedule long meetings, mentor them. So in other words, meeting them for lunch or meeting them after work for a beer is often much more effective than a long meeting to talk about prospects, etc. So make sure that, again, when you meet with them, it's in a way that's focused. So meetings sometimes can be essential, if they're constrained and focused and to the point, but meeting for the sake of meeting, high-performing salespeople don't enjoy that. Instead, focused on mentoring. So mentor is greater than meetings. Remember it that way. Because at the end of the day, when you have someone with those non-teachable traits, managing them effectively is important because they are, make no mistake about it, worth their weight in gold. Now, one extra tip to keep in mind. We've consistently seen over the years that people who work their way through school tend to be high in these characteristics, particularly in need for achievement. So to the extent that you see that, for example, in a resume or that it comes out in your interview, that's a big hint that you've got somebody with strong need for achievement on your hands. So just something to keep in mind. Again, I'm Dr. Chris Croner, and as I always say, it always starts with drive.